It's Scandal the Truth, and today we are doing the first Sunday mukbang. And today's sponsor for the mukbang is HIPHOP Fish and Chicken. Now, if you live in Maryland or you live in Baltimore City, well, no, it's Maryland, right? Yeah, if you live in Maryland, DC, DMV area, you've had this before. You know, I didn't put extra crack on it because something about just asking for extra crack on anything in Baltimore City just doesn't fit right with me. But yeah, let's get right into it. Check out HIPHOP Fish and Chicken if you haven't already. We're gonna go through and answer all those questions you guys gave me. What's question number one, Mr. Crooks?
Alright, so Eyes the Dawn asks, are you related to Devontae Adams?
Who the fuck is Devontae Adams? Devontae Adams. Really? I'm not gonna lie, I do look like him a little bit. Just a little bit.
Well, with the dreads, yeah.
No, I ain't related to no Devontae Adams. If I am, I would never know, especially if it was one of those secrets. But ha ha ha, pretty funny.
Hey, it's Eileen asked, how old are you? Yeah.
How old am I? I'm old enough to be a father. How about that?
You know, that's a really good transition into this next question.
What's the next question?
Barry asking fatherhood. He just put fatherhood.
That's the question is just fatherhood?
Question, yeah. Not even a question mark. 2 exclamation points.
Maybe he wants me to finish the sentence. So, fatherhood is one of the best things that can happen to a real man. The scariest thing to happen to a lost man. And it's just a blessing. Fatherhood is just amazing. When you become a dad, you learn more about yourself than you do about becoming a dad. You just learn more about you becoming yourself. Assuming that you take on the role accordingly. But yeah, fatherhood is amazing.
How many businesses do you have?
I have my hands in multiple businesses because there's this stigma around 9 to 5 being a matrix, loophole, slave ship. And then this narrative about being an entrepreneur is just like the saving grace and the only way that anyone can get to some success. It isn't true. You just have to pick one. Do you want slow and steady but secure, or do you want high risk, high reward? So I have just enough businesses to keep myself afloat, my hands in just enough businesses to secure a future, but it's very risky, but it's also very rewarding.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? Hopefully 5 years further along in this journey. You know, they say you're not supposed to live too far in the past or too far in the future. You just have to stay in the present. I'm not very present. So where do I see myself in 5 years? Probably whenever I close my eyes, I already see that because I live too far in the future. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I definitely see myself there. Where do I see myself in 5 years? I definitely see myself there. In 5 years, hopefully I have more wealth, more health, and more stealth, because I need to start hiding from, you know what I'm saying, from the public eye. The world's getting scary.
What was it like to work with an orchestra?
Working with an orchestra gives life to the music. It's like you hear a song, there's so many different instruments, but when you're in a room and you have the bass guitar right here, you have the drums right there, the keyboards are right behind you, blaring forward. That was by far the most rewarding. Just because I was able to stand in the middle of all those instruments and just feel the clash of all those energies at the same time. So how does it feel to work with orchestra? It's just unmatched. I don't think you can really consider yourself a performer until you've done that at least once.
Uncle Gyro asked, is the tide high or low?
The fuck type, what does that mean?
I don't even know.
Is the tide high or is it low? Is it morning or is it night? Is it warm, is it cold? I don't know. Is it windy, is it still? I think it just is as it is.
Is water wet?
Yeah, is sand dry? Is sand wet? Is it dry? How can it be dry? Like, what? Is there like a cult of people that say no to that question? Yeah, it's fucking wet.
When is Van getting a sibling?
Whenever his mother wants a sibling, his mother wants him to have a sibling. Those decisions are not up to me. That's like asking a guy, when are you gonna have a baby? I don't know. That has nothing to do with me.
So would you want another boy or another girl?
I don't think I'm emotionally strong enough to raise a woman. So as long as I just keep shitting out them boys.
Why are you so handsome?
My mother is the one for you to ask that to.
Or is it because you look like Devontae Adams?
You tripping. You tripping. I have no money for you if that's what you're trying to do with that one.
Have you found your purpose in life?
No, I don't know. I don't think you find your purpose in life. I feel like your purpose finds you. When you're 11, you want to be Michael Jordan, but your purpose in life is to inspire 100,000 people to read. Or your purpose in life, I don't know, what does the Bible say your purpose in life is to do? Just like give and be a good person?
I think that the Bible kind of describes like your purpose on planet Earth as being like a messenger in the form of love, right? So, you know.
So make love is my purpose in life? I found that motherfucker for sure. You have your idea of what you're supposed to do in life. You know your journey, but the universe knows your purpose. So until you guys can, like, I don't know, find a way to meet in the middle, I don't think you're gonna find your purpose.
What would be your superpower and why?
I would love to just see 10 minutes in the future. Because think about how many decisions in life, impactful decisions, whether it's good or bad, could have been done differently if you just knew 10 minutes before. I don't need to see what's gonna happen in 2050 because there's gonna be so many evolutionary changes between now and then that I might not even know what the hell I'm looking at with my present eyes and seeing 50 years in the future. But just 10 minutes, that'd be cool. Like, oh, I want to go and talk to her real quick. I want to go and say hi. You'll know in 10 minutes. Like, you know, you can just see 10 minutes forward and be like, okay, let me change that approach.
I'd probably like be able to go back in time.
You know, being able to go back 10 minutes might be cool too. You're playing poker.
Yeah, and then you just know.
Yeah, just play the game and just go back real quick. If I could have a superpower, I think I would like anything Iron Man related. That's my favorite superhero. It might be because he has anxiety and depression, social awkwardness and all this.
He's a badass.
Exactly, he's just fucking gas, like, yeah.
Don't you agree that U.S. needs to take on the word bollocks?
Wait, what was that question?
Don't you agree that the U.S. needs to take on the word bollocks?
The U.S. has taken everything. So you think it would be a good idea to then give America the only thing we have left that truly makes us British, and that's the word bollocks. Bollocks to England is what aloha is to Hawaii. It's like it's the soul of the country. So no, I don't think America should take on the word bollocks. It's absolute bollocks.
What about bunda?
We got bunda. We don't need bunda. We don't need no fucking bunda, that's for sure. We got national types of other bullshit. We don't need that. They can have that one.
This one's a little bit complicated. Opinions on cultural, intuitive, and metaphysical practices to elevate self and community.
I think any intuitive practice should just be harbored in the journey that it's warranted. Any metaphysical practices, I don't think that, this is just me being pessimistic, I don't think there's any metaphysical practices that one could inherit that would help this community. Cultural practices, I have a big issue with the word culture. So I could assume that when you're saying cultural practices, you and I are looking at the word culture very differently. So in a nutshell, just do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. And yes, definitely meditate.
Would you say that's like the primary way you elevate yourself?
What would I say the primary way you elevate yourself? Like there's never an end, like knowing is infinite. You never know too much, so it's like...
And you can't read every book.
Yeah. The smartest thing one could ever know is that he knows nothing. Like, if you know nothing, you'll never be like satisfied with learning, and you always just want to learn.
Scandle, how do you stay consistent in the stock market?
I stay consistent in the stock market because I'm fucking crazy. Losses and an emotional roller coaster is inevitable in the stock market. So if you can consistently deal with that, then more power to you. But for some reason, people feel like once you get to a certain level in the market, wins, losses, and emotional strain just goes away. It doesn't go away. Okay, you can be at the top of your game and still be vulnerable to taking the fattest L that you could ever experience. Just look at Vanguard. Vanguard built his wealth the same time as JP Morgan and the Carnegies and the Rockefellers and all them other hideaway quadrillionaires. He was right there along with them. The Rockefellers and the Rothschilds today are still eating off the bread from the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds from 1890. But then the vanguards transferred their wealth. They lost the whole thing in 2 generations. And they want to start jumping in and out of the stock market. How you lose a lifetime's worth of wealth in 2 generations? Maybe by staying consistent in the stock market. How would you stay consistent in the stock market? Just stay in that motherfucker. How do you thrive in the stock market is a different question. Chill.
If you could travel anywhere right now, like you could snap your fingers and be there, what place would you choose?
Switzerland. If I could snap my fingers and go anywhere right now, I'd go to Switzerland. Because what the fuck is in Switzerland?